when she died. A woman died here early this morning. When she died, the waves of her breath beating one by one against these clammy sands failed at last to pull back all the wet shells piled inside and shattered one by one like glass against the shore. When she died, the light in her face fading, yellow as the blown grass of the wilderness, dimmed at last, her glance no longer fixed as she gave up the task of breathing. One long sigh, and then no more. And when she died, a female guard, uncaring, came at last to stuff her in a bag, indifferent, as if she were no more than a branch of pine needles dried up. It was as simple as that, the morning that she died. No one asked why the moth's wings had turned blue. No one wondered what she had been thinking, or whether the chrysanthemum had murmured to her, bending at her ear beside death's door. And no one asked who'd lit the candle at her coming, or if her going had been what she'd dreamed before. All they said was, "Well, the poor thing's free at last." And I witnessed it. Her bundle of things so frail, an ant could have carried it off like a grain of wheat. And I witnessed it. Her food, a crumb of bread, so small that a worm in the water could have swallowed it. And I witnessed it. But behind her glassy eyes, there lay a faint bloom of tranquility, and her mouth was filled with the ghazals of humility. Her lips were lined with the clear azure of the skies, and her cheeks were pale as the moon playing with the sunrise. And I witnessed it. Maybe someone was coming to meet her from afar, to greet her with a branch of blossoming light, for the tips of her fingers had become translucent. Or maybe someone was taking her by the hand and was leading her perhaps to other lands. Who knows? Maybe she found a home at last, just big enough for the sense of a prayer. Or perhaps someone took her to see God up in the higher realms somewhere, and maybe he gave her a shelter there, a threshold she might call her own, and offered her just enough shade for joy, for a mouthful of peace, for the taste of love. And maybe God at least believed in her sufferings.